I'm back. Welcome to Tell It How It Is Part 2. No filter. We were last talking on Ramadan. Again, you can look it up. You can see what's good with that because, again, I like that. It shows responsibility and it's pretty interesting, actually. I'm not religious like that, as I said, but I do like discipline. Discipline is very important. So things like Ramadan, things like, it don't matter how old you are, you can begin these things at any time in life. Ramadan, like karate, self-defense classes, things that, self-awareness, security awareness. That's what I wanted to touch too. So place of employment, we have to get refreshed every so odd years. Fires. You could Google, there's a lot of stories of a lot of reckless fires in the home and apartment buildings. I know the big one last year in the Bronx, is what January it was. That whole building was like 20 odd stories. Shit was crazy. I found out that the people apartments was fireproof, but they may not have known. So that's how that shit just went left. And it's not the fire that kills you, it's the smoke. So I know you know that, and you should know that. I shouldn't have to school you on that, but it made me aware, like, you really gotta watch surroundings because anything could ignite. And the reaction time that you have to put it out versus how fast it takes to kill you, that's why you gotta be super sharp, because a fire only need a minute, maybe two, to really spread. And at the 2-minute mark, it may be too late to put it out. Do you guys have fire extinguishers in your house? I think you should invest in one. They're changing the game, so there's another type of fire extinguisher outside, like just the basic one, the one that take care of, I guess, A, B, and C. There's now K class, you know what I mean? And that's more related to like the kitchen. K is not for kitchen though. But invest, Google, research, and just pay attention. Make sure your smoke detectors are intact. Especially you got a family and kids, yo. But even if you're a single bachelor man in your own spot, you want to make sure you're aware of these things. And, I found it, interesting that we can't take nothing for granted. You kind of always got to be on point. You feel me? So get a fire extinguisher, no matter which one. No, here's the other thing I'm going to take for a minute, and that's it. When you go out, this is key. Any events, like you and your lady on a dinner date, movies, bowling, lounge, anything. I don't got to go down the list, right? Supermarket. So when you go in these places, do you scope the area to see what's another exit? Is there another exit? If shit pop off, can I get out of here? Now, at first I joked to say that that's a kind of criminal mind type of thinking, because, that's you going to steal or do some shit. That's why you need to know that. It's funny, right? Negatively, those folks, they do that. You know what I'm saying? They scope how to get out. What's another way out? How quick can I get out? For the wrong shit, right? But for regular shit, you just going about your day and something pops off, you need that same mentality. What's another way out of here? What's another way out of here? Where's the emergency exits? It's just, if we all grasp that mentality, I think a lot of shit that's happened wouldn't happen. Like, as far as the casualties. People are always, I hate to say it like that. People are always, it's always going to be situations people get hurt and people don't make it. We're never going to overcome that with nobody. You feel me? But we can minimize if we do have some knowledge of shit like that and being aware. And again, giving yourself responsibility, holding yourself to a standard. You know what I mean? It helps. It all helps. Like I said, mental. You know what I mean? All right, I'm going to leave y'all on that. Get a fire extinguisher. Make sure your smoke detectors work. Teach the kids. You know what I mean? Watch shit around the house. Propane and all that. And, it's a big thing. Just pay attention. Amazon has fire extinguishers. Okay. Some controversy. Shout out Crew Season on IG. That's KREWSEASON. It'll be in the timestamps, but I wanted to spell it out for you. Follow these guys. I love their content for the most part. I'm not saying I really dig deep and go in, but whatever they post on IG, I always like pay attention. So I got this from there, maybe not worded the same like message driven though. Kids should never call mom's man dad if biological father is active. Ooh, that's not how they said it, but that's big. So, don't get in your feelings, fellas. You are, you wife up a young lady that has kids, right? You're doing everything. You got the strong circumference to be able to hold it down, right? You come in, you're genuine, because, I mean, come on, man. For the most part, I know there's like creeps and weirdos out there. For the most part, if a man decides that, is most likely genuine initially. So he comes in, he knows this is what it is. So when you go into a relationship like that, you don't just care about the lady, you care about the kids as well. You know, it may not be discussed right away, the responsibilities, but you as a grown man, come on, it's not, do we have to spell it out ABC? Shit that pop off, you're responsible to. You still, like, especially when you move in, you're the man of the house, it's on you, dog. You top dog. But you want the biological father to be active, fellas. Like, like, you want that. So, if you got a genuine heart and there's kids, you was once that. So, all hands on deck. All the help, if it's positive, all the help is great help. Like, it's only going to make the kids better. So, you should want that, right? So, I'm more concerned with that than focusing in on what you call me. You know what I mean? So, now, if the biological father isn't active, listen, for me, I don't know how you guys feel out there. These things like titles and what you're called, listen, your name's on your birth certificate. If you're like me and you have things that you do, your clothing line, or if you're a photographer, or editor, or music, podcaster, you can have a name for yourself in your expertise, as per se. But outside of the name on your birth certificate and whatever other name you have through business or whatever you're doing, that's your title, motherfucker. Like, what do you want? If you're doing genuine shit, these little things don't matter. So, biological father, active or not, what you call me, you know what I mean? As long, we back in the day had respect, so we used the Mr. or the Mrs. and the person's name. I've had step parents, and I was too young to like analyze that then, but let's keep it a stat. My biological mother, can I call her active in this, like this example says? Not really, but that was then, and I didn't call any of my step parents mom. Like, I don't think, not once. And did they deserve it? Again, wow. I don't think that mattered. Especially back then, it didn't matter. Like, I didn't analyze it like, oh, I can really go to them. So here's your reward. Because I can go to you, here's your title now. No, you're there. You do what you do. It's all for the kids' sake. Like, that's who's impressionable. That's who we don't want them so sensitive. We want them aware. We want them strong. We want them ready for when they grow up and have to go out here for dolo. So it's more impressionable on them and maybe titles for them and how they look at it versus how you as an adult look at it. So I gave my pointers on it. I agree. All of that is to say, I agree. If the biological father is active, the kids, that's who their daddy is. That's who they call daddy. The boyfriend, the stud, all the way to if the moms marry the boyfriend As long as the biological father is active, I agree that the kids don't call the new man daddy. If he's not active, again, I'm splicing this. It still don't, like, you don't, it don't matter, dog. Like, it don't matter. Titles don't mean respect. You know what I mean? Like, does that guarantee that? If I call you king, look at that. There you go. Motherfuckers walking around calling niggas kings all day. Peace, king. Do you really respect them? You just saying it to sound nice or sound stern? Peace, king. You don't know me. I'm not getting respect. Like, that doesn't mean I'm going to get the respect from you. I don't care about that shit. Listen, get out your feelings. The title is very minuscule to me, and it should be to you. You know, if you have confidence, self-esteem, you're proficient, you get shit done, I don't give a fuck. You just ain't gonna call me, you know, let's you know what I mean, bozo, loot. Like, you know, the degrading titles is what might strike a nerve. You know, you're not gonna talk down, but I don't need verbal praise titles. Feel me? So I'm gonna leave that there. Someone told me men and women are confusing sexual marketplace value with relationship value. Men have a leniency when it comes to sex only. Women are still choosy, mostly. There's a few savages in the mix. So, again, if you're a mature, grown, aware type of guy, this doesn't apply to you. There is no confusing that. The thing is, we may not discuss honestly where we at with the other individual. So, men, tell the truth. When we chasing just sex, again, there's a leniency there, right? But for most of us where it's hard to come by, or you're coming out of a drought, you may behave like this is a potential relationship because you're trying to score. Can I get mad at that? Not really, because I understand male nature. A lot of women don't, or they're naive to it, or they think it's time for a change. And what's biological won't change. So, women, you shouldn't get upset. You should just have knowledge and just dub it. If you're not here for that, you're not just trying to be physical and that's it. Or roll a dice to be physical and then see what happens after that. Just avoid this, but just know initially what draws the man to you to begin with. The attraction, what he saw, his eyes. So if he's only chasing that, you can't really be mad. You see, we have this war. All right, I won't say war. We have this battle going on that the men and women, we're supposed to try to figure each other out and become one or be, you know, that's not going to happen. Biologically, they're wired differently. So let women be how they be. Just understanding their nature helps you, and vice versa. I know men have more pressure to understand women way more than women got to understand men because they don't give a fuck. So the difference, again, to sum it up, fellas, you kind of all right, because you see how we don't lose, but we don't really take advantage at this point. Now, put a woman in that situation who's only looking for sex, right? We don't care. That's what we want. But it could still mature into a relationship from her initially only wanting to have fun. And if she doesn't mature into wanting a relationship, that's all we wanted anyway, right? So, man, we don't really lose there. It's harder to lock that, like, it's harder to be in that situation, depending on the guy. Like, you're not really going to come across that, because I think even women who only want sex, still, you have to court her, meet her, interact. She got to choose you. So it's not really easy, like I'm saying. But I'm talking about once you're in there, though, you don't really lose. Only women may have their guard up because vice versa, they wanted more. If they don't want only sex, they want more. Their guard has to be up because they're like, okay, who's this guy? What does he want? He only wants that. Okay, I see it. And it's for them to pick and choose whether they go, well, I'm attractive enough to him Let's see what happens. Because now they get into their whole, yeah, this is where he at, but I'm going to bring him here. You know? So it shouldn't be as tricky as it sounds. Fellas, relax. You got to still put in the work regardless. That's the key here. Men, regardless of sex only or you going purple pill and you want a relationship, you kind of got to use the same steps based on your value, based on your status, all of that, you know. And even with the status, the money, the fame, dudes get curved still. So you still got to work is my point. That level of work is per individual, but you got to work regardless. Women, stop confusing guys that want to fuck you versus wanting to be with you. You can sit here and say my DM's flooded all day. That's a bunch of horny motherfuckers. So, not saying you don't have value, but that doesn't confirm a thing. What do you bring to the table? What do you have for yourself that you can say surpasses my looks, my attraction, my vagina? That's the strong shit right there. You feel me? So, that's that. Pet peeve of the week. Then close out with the health tips. Waiting for a gas pump and the person sits in their vehicle for anything longer than a minute before pulling off. Or just moving slow in general. Parentheses, maybe it's just me. I've been told that I have a small issue with patience. So, if you're at a gas station, when are you getting gas? Are you getting gas when you're on E, or you strategize and you know if you're about to take a long drive, or you know the next day you about to, however you do that to go get gas. So you go get gas, all the pumps are full taken. You're sitting there waiting for a pump. I'm not saying, and here's the flaw, voice of reason. Because of how I would do it is why this would bother me. And you can't, again, what did I open up in part one with? Everybody lives in this life. You got times where it's your time to shine on the good and on the bad. You can't take things personal. You can't say just because how you do things, you expect the world to operate like that. So that's why I said maybe it's just me, and it's kind of like a pointless pet peeve because people are going to be selfish. People thinking about only themselves, keyword selfish, and they're going to do what they do. They don't care that they hold you up. They don't care that somebody's waiting. Like when somebody's at a light and they on the phone and the light turns green and they hesitate, you know, they're not moving. You got to beep them because they was in their phone. People go into their own bubble and sometimes forget that this is a world that we all share and live in. So that's that. And with that knowledge right there, I shouldn't let that bother me. It didn't. It's just that a pet peeve for the week is something that I encountered during the week that was slightly irritable. It's not a big deal though. But what the fuck are you sitting in the car for? What are you doing in there? You're on the phone having a conversation. You can't multitask. And true, when you're driving, operating a machine, you shouldn't be multitasking. So if you do gotta send a message or handle something prior to pulling off, that's safer. You know what I mean? So I just schooled myself and said, all right, you can have that. You can have that. You know what I mean? So that's that. Health-wise, before I step on out, just continue the same things I've been saying, man. Like, steps. You really got to do some walking. You know what I mean? Like, if you can incorporate walking versus, you know, for my folks out there that take the bus to work. If you take the train, I don't really think you can walk that, depending on how many stops. Come on, if it's 3 stops, 3 train stops, you can walk that. The bus might be a longer travel too. Like, don't sleep just because a person takes the bus outside of the train. It can still be a long commute. Try some walking, especially as the weather gets nice. So now I can really promote that as a health tip as the weather breaks. Because I know people would do certain things, but the weather would deter that. So now, again, try to do some walking. I mean, even in regular shit that you got to handle. If it's not going to work because you got your business shoes on, and that might bring your sneakers. But you know, you go to the supermarket, maybe that's close enough to walk. But to bring the groceries back, may have to take a lift back. Try to find ways to walk. Try to find ways to jog. Or just go to a gym, or you yourself could invest in a bike. I want you with some type of machinery for some type of cardio. Me, I still play basketball. I feel like that's my cardio, but I still do cardio things outside of that. The thing is to get your heart rate pumping. You gotta get that pumping. You know what I'm saying? So anything, jumping jacks, jogging, running, walking, find something. I'm not limiting you to a certain thing. Find something to stay active, to boost that heart rate up. You know what I'm saying? This should be happening 2-3 times a week at minimum. So I'm not telling you to walk to work every day. Find a way to move. All right? Stay productive. Keep your head up, like Pac say. And until the next time, I holla.